Smaller than you think, smarter than you imagine, and so well hidden that hardly anyone knows about it until now. What I'm about to show you will completely change how you see technology in the future and make you realize what incredible things are happening right under your nose without you noticing. Mind-blowing technology, rare futuristic gadgets that will turn everything upside down. Take a look. Okay, this is gonna sound dumb, but have you ever seen a gaming console the size of a gift card? That's the gamer card, tiny as hell. Basically a Raspberry Pi gaming rig, squashed into a stack of circuit boards with a proper screen on top. I found it just lying on my desk, switched it on out of curiosity. Next thing I know, I'm halfway through a boss fight on something thinner than my phone. Didn't expect it to do much, but it runs retro games like a beast. Full-on emulation, NES, Mega Drive, arcade stuff. Even comes preloaded with 2 full games. One of them's a proper Switch port, not some mini demo. And yeah, 125 pounds, which sounds like a lot. Until you realize it's a full gaming system that fits in your wallet. I mean, you don't need one. But if you ever wanted to sneak a whole game library into your pocket, this might be it. So yeah, probably thinking, not another USB hub? And fair enough. But hang on, this one actually replaces a whole bunch of stuff on the desk. Picture this, working on a laptop usually takes forever messing around with weird key combos. But with this, one tap, screen locked, click a button, screenshot done. No software, no setup, just plug it in and it works. The lighting, soft, ambient. The buttons, great tactile feel. And after a while, it just blends in, like it's always been part of the setup. Price? Around 80 bucks. Feels almost too cheap when it replaces 5 different things on your desk. Not something anyone needs, but once it's there, everything else kind of feels outdated. Alright, enough with the tech. Time to check out the stuff that could actually move the world. Eyes open and look closely. How good would it be if your morning routine took half the effort it usually does, just because you finally got the Linkshura Smart Controller? It lets you control lights, kitchen appliances, music, basically your whole smart home, with just a few clicks. One tap turns things on, double tap turns them off, hold to adjust stuff like brightness or volume. Simply brilliant because you don't have to keep calling out to Alexa. Just click and it does exactly what you want. Instantly. No waiting. For just under $100, you can grab it on Amazon. But what you definitely won't find on Amazon is the next device. This isn't some super modern calculator, even though it certainly could be one. A genuine Linux computer that fits in your hands, not some toy, but the real thing. Magnetic modules snap on instantly. Gamepad for gaming, keyboard for coding, or build your own. The IMX8M Plus chip delivers serious power with up to 8 GB RAM and a gorgeous AMOLED display. 5G, USB-C 3.0, GPIO pins. Everything you need to build, hack, and experiment without limits. Simply insane what's all possible. But it's not just for developers. Anyone can use it, so go ahead, dare to try it. Whether you're prototyping ideas or just curious how things really work, this machine won't hold you back. The price for all this will probably be around $145, but it's not out yet. Currently targeted for the 3rd quarter of this year. You should definitely check it out. But what's much more important is whether this next device can't do something. Let's find out. At this point, we're basically living in a sci-fi movie. The Omnia by Withings is a smart mirror that scans your body, talks to you, and if needed, calls a doctor right away. All this, in the middle of your morning routine, between toothbrush and coffee. A mirror that talks. Data that feels like thoughts. Absurd, but somehow logical. Like someone mixed a smartwatch, a scale, and a doctor into one. Still in development, could end up as just another CES fantasy. But if it really hits the market, starting around $800. Personally, I think that price is still far from what it'll actually cost in the end. Let's move on to something that doesn't cost quite as much, but might be just as powerful. Who doesn't know this? You're sitting comfortably at the table with your family in the evening eating, and suddenly there's a crash. A break-in. Someone stole a picture. But instead of going after the guy like a man, you decide to develop a system that prevents something like that. PaintCam Eve. Looks like any normal security camera, but with a twist. Someone enters your property, it recognizes the face and can literally shoot paintballs. You can control the camera via the app, how else would it be? And that's also how you see what your wife is up to when you're busy with other things yourself. Anyway, you have everything in view, and the burglar, should he try it, gets smeared with paint so everyone recognizes what's what, so no escape. Around $1,600 for a security system that actually fights back. Very good thing. Just as surprising as the paint is the next gadget. Okay, time to see if this thing lives up to the hype. Basically, it's a smart 4K projector, and honestly, the picture's super sharp, even in daylight. It uses a combo of LED and laser light, so the colors are bright, crisp, and actually kind of impressive. It runs on Android TV, so Netflix, YouTube, all of that's built in. What I really like, you just set it down and it auto-adjusts the image. Doesn't matter if the wall's wonky or whatever, no messing around, just turn it on and it works. If you're into big movie nights, grab it on Amazon for around $1,000. It's worth it. Another proof that progress never sleeps. At first it looked like, I don't know, an aquarium with a cat in it. But then it hit me. The thing was on. It's just transparent. This is LG's transparent OLED. 77 inches. You're watching Netflix and still seeing whatever's behind the screen at the same time. And let's be honest, that has to be annoying, right? Like, if the room's too bright, doesn't that make the whole image hard to see? That's how I imagine it anyway. And no, this isn't a concept or some prototype. You can actually buy this thing already. Starts at $15,000. Probably the more transparent you want it, the more expensive it gets. Just kidding. It has a 4K OLED panel with a switchable contrast layer. So with one press, it becomes a regular screen. Runs on LG's Custom Web OS, optimized for transparent UI elements. And it's got widget support. Things like weather, time, and media controls just float on the lower part of the screen. No micro lens array though, so it won't get as bright as LG's top models like the G4. Let's stick to something more practical, like the next gadget. Now that one's got some real power. This looks like a nerdy DIY gadget at first, but it's actually a full-on portable mini computer. Open, modular, fully customizable, not an iPad, not Android. Just real tech you can tweak, rebuild, expand, like the old days, with modern power. There are two versions, Pilot 5, compact, with a 5-inch screen, mini keyboard, trackball, scroll wheel, game buttons. Perfect for the couch, bed, train, kinda like a Game Boy but running full Linux. And then there's Pilot 7. It's got the same core as the 5, just bigger. More tablet than console. Both run on Raspberry Pi 5. Fast, open, and flexible. The real magic? It's modular. Snap-on LTE, storage, even a gamepad. Case is 3D printable, schematics are open. You can expand the whole thing pretty much endlessly. Honestly, wild. Price? Between $300 and $400 depending on the model. Definitely check the link. Super exciting device, but let's dial it down for a second and look at the next one, which is just as cool. Honestly, this thing doesn't even feel like tech anymore. It's called Mudra Link. Looks like a wristband, but it's basically an interface between your brain and the world. In short, you control everything with just a small finger movement. And boom, music starts playing or the TV turns on. Here's the wild part. The device picks up the electrical signals that run from your brain to your hand before the movement even happens. Those signals get turned into digital commands. You can assign gestures however you want. Volume up, open something, trigger an action, whatever you need. All through this invisible interface on your wrist. Oh, and then there's the Mudra Band. That one's built specifically for the Apple Watch. It replaces swiping, tapping, and scrolling with simple hand gestures. Totally discreet, made for everyday use. So yeah, basically the same tech, just focused entirely on Apple devices. Both are around $400. This is the future. We think, and it happens, absolutely crazy.